John Lord here, and today I'm going to talk about extending the flowering season. I've been told to slow down a bit. They say I'm talking too fast, so I'm going to go a bit slower because supposedly it's more relaxing. But I'll end up going back to my normal mode because everybody always goes back to norm. But anyway, there's an interesting point, is what's the best time of the year for the garden? Is it the spring? Is it the summer? Is it the autumn? Is it the winter? No, obviously not the winter. And I would never worry too much about a winter garden, because in the winter, most people, if they're working, they go for work in the morning, it's dark, they come back from work in the evening, it's dark, you don't see the garden, so you don't go too mad about your winter. And there is an important issue with seasons, that you have to have a bit of hardship. You can't have everything perfect. That's what's good about why we enjoy the spring and the summer, because it makes up for the little bit of deprivations we get in the winter. So I never worry too much about the winter. I don't worry too much about the spring either, because the spring has got all this hope for the summer. So that in itself is nearly good enough. So I don't go mad about the spring. I like to concentrate on the summer and the autumn and push or stretch out the summer with flowers as long as possible right into November, and then everything just fades away gracefully. And we're heading for mid-September, and there's still a fair bit of puff in the garden. And I'll just mention a few little techniques and a few plants. I like hardy geraniums, and I just picked a few different types. And this is a geranium based on Geranium mullichianum. The important one is Razam, but there's lots of different ones. Now they flower, here it is, here's one here, right going through the hydrangea, which is starting to fade. But they flower from about, not August, maybe as early as June, right up to November. So they help move the season along. And then we have this type of geranium, which is based on Geranium psilostemon. And this is a different type of geranium. It likes warmer, sunnier spots. And this is one that will keep going right up to the end of the season as well. And then the third type of geranium, it's sort of a bit weedy. This one is called Wargrave Pink, Geranium oxonianum. And they are very, very easy geraniums to go. And the secret of growing oxonianum type geraniums is that if they get out of hand during the summer, you have to be very, very strict with them. And I'll just show you one over here. There's one here that's been cut back. We made this new border and we cut that back really hard about 5-6 weeks ago. And look how rich it's come back to, and it's starting to flower. It's got a tiny, tiny little flower, this particular variety. And they're great for ground cover. Now a lot of people don't like them because they seed around, but if you put a bit of effort in and you're not if you're not afraid to be hard with them when they're in the wrong place. That's the thing about plants. If a plant's in the wrong place, it's in the wrong place, it no longer becomes a plant. To me, it becomes a weed. It has to be got rid of. Discipline in the garden is everything. Another group of plants that can bring the season forward or extend the season on are members of the daisy family, and this one is a goldenrod because it's golden and it looks like a rod, which is not rocket science. And they don't flower for a particularly long time, but they are very different. And that's the important thing with plants in the garden, to get ones that are very different, because they show off the ones that aren't different. And they show off the great variety of plants. There are so many different plants you can get. And this is a very delicate goldenrod. Now some of the goldenrods can be a bit rough and you know, they're a bit weedy, but this one is definitely not, and it's called Fireworks, so this is one I recommend. But that's goldenrods, and now we'll mention roses. As I'm here, this one is ballerina. Oh, not ballerina, no, it's not ballerina. It's the fairy. And roses are great, repeat flowering roses, if you deadhead them. They're great for moving things forward until, once again, sometimes right up to Christmas. You can sometimes get roses flowering at Christmas. So roses are another stalwart for moving things along. And here we have something over here, I've just noticed. Once again, I wouldn't go mad with asters. I wouldn't have a huge amount of them. I don't even know which aster that is. But that comes up every year, flowers, doesn't get mildew, minds its own business, dies back down again. So asters are good. Roses, asters, solidagos, hardy geraniums. Now let's see what else we have. Now that's Hydrangea Annabelle, and it's starting to go off, but I still think it has a bit of impact, and I think it would be a mistake to remove the dead flowers, because they sort of go a strawy parchment colour, and they give structure right through the winter. So that'll just be just fade away naturally over the next few months. This is a very, very good late flowering plant. It's called Actaea, Actaea Racemosa, and it's one of the varieties that has dark foliage. So before it flowers, you have really, really nice foliage for the entire season, and then it tops this off with very contrasting light flowers, dark foliage, light flowers. I mean, that, I have to say, I mean, how better can you get than that? Just to finish off about plants for extending the season, and I was going to talk about this aconitum, but I just see beside it this Aster Munch, which is one of the best long flowering asters, probably the best aster you can get. It's called Aster Munch. Beside it we have an aconitum, and gorgeous plants, very poisonous, but you wouldn't be inclined to eat them because they don't taste very nice, but never be tempted to eat this plant. It's called a Monkshood, and there's something quite sinister about it, but it is beautiful, and that has very nice young foliage. It's a variety with lovely bronzy foliage in the spring, so it has lovely, then it has gorgeous foliage for the whole season, and then the sort of crescendo, it's like the icing on the top of the cake. It's the flowers. You know what aconitum it is, I don't know. I keep saying to myself I should keep records, and anyone listening to this, when they plant something, if there's a plant label with it, get the plant label, get a box and get all your plant labels, and every time you plant, write something on the back of the label and put it in the box, because no matter how good your memory is, you do forget what the plant you planted is.